Okay, face and path, okay, to do with this roll release or throw release. I get asked a lot about this one, well, what you're doing isn't exactly right and it doesn't work, okay? So I thought I'd do a video that explains it in more detail and hopefully with a different view of what I'm actually looking at when I'm doing this. So if you're interested in this, it's a bit more detailed, so please bear with me, and I hope you like detail, and this is one for you. So anyway, let's jump into it and let's get started. So I did a video a while back called the throw release, okay, versus the roll release, okay, and a lot of people enjoyed that video, and thank you very much for those who followed me from that, and also those of you who liked it and commented below. And one of the comments I got a few of, or questions about, is it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way through the swing. So I wanted to do a bit more, and can I do a more detailed version of this video? So this is what I'm doing here. So I'm trying to do as best as I possibly can. I've got some alignment sticks here. So what we talked about with the throw release, and one of the important things you've got to try to remember when you do this, is the throw release, it's to ensure that the club face remains square to the swing path. Okay, which is totally different than to the target line. All right, so a lot of golfers I think get confused that they're trying to keep the club face square to the target line rather than to the swing path, and there's a difference with that. So that's really, really important that you understand that. So with that in mind, okay, that's what we're trying to achieve here. So I had so many people come back to me and say, but that's impossible, you can't swing the club that way and keep the club face square to the target and to the path. It doesn't, to the target. You don't keep it square to the target. You keep it square to the swing path, okay, or swing plane, if that's what you want to call it. So that's what we're trying to do, because one of the things we see a lot of amateur golfers do is they have this tendency with their golf swing. I've got this rod here in my glove and my right hand here. So with the throw release, this action here, this throw-in motion that we talked about, with this motion here, you can see how this rod here isn't rotating when I'm swinging down to hit the ball, okay? And what we were taught for many years was to turn the face open, hold the angle, and turn it through on the way through. So there's a lot of forearm or hand roll in the swing, and this causes you to be fairly inconsistent. Now, obviously, I worked with Mike Malaska and so on and so forth, and he totally changed my view on this altogether. He came from doing this motion of square, keeping the club face square to the swing path, and he was told he was wrong, okay? He was taking the club back, he was doing his swing, he was taking the club back, and he was getting to this position here, and immediately golf pros were saying, oh no, you've got a closed club face, that's too closed, okay, you're going to hook the ball from there. And the problem was with that then made him go through a series of changes then of trying to then get the club face square so that the toe of the club was pointing to the sky. Well, immediately my hand was rolling and so on and so forth. My hand rolls to do that. I've got to then roll the club head through, and I'm still guilty of doing this as well. I mean, it's not easy, but I'm a lot straighter than I ever used to be because I worked on this motion, okay? I'm going to try and give you a bird's eye view of what I see. Bear with me though, because I don't have all the camera, I just have my phone. That's how I film these videos. But I've set up a little station here to try and represent that. So just to run through quickly, first of all, from here, the key thing that we're looking at is mainly from this point here to this point here on the way through. But to mainly run through this, when I swing a golf club back, now, this is where I'm getting my club face to be. And there's windows of opportunity. It doesn't have to be absolutely spot on, but there's windows of opportunity here. But when I'm looking at this, you can see how the leading edge of my club is running at 90-degree angles, okay, as is my palm of my right hand. You see this disc here is running at a 90-degree angle to my swing plane or path, okay? And what happens from here, once I go to there, your arms have to rotate as well. So they rotate in their shoulder sockets, okay? There's turning. So it's not my hands that rolling or rotating, it's actually my arm that's rotating in its shoulder socket. So there's a point when I get the club to about here that the club's gonna go over my hands and pivot, and this is gonna cause my right arm to rotate in my shoulder socket. But I go back to here, it rotates up to there, and then when I come back down, I bring it back down to exactly the same point as where I was going back up on. So my right arm then re-rotates back, and so does my left arm, because the left arm's a rotator, not a puller, and I get the club face square again to my swing path. This is what we're seeing all the top pros doing now. I then come into impact, my club face is square. And then when I go beyond impact, my hand then works in that throw motion, so that on the way through, my club face is still square to my swing path, okay? But it'll be slightly closed to my target line. There's a difference. So that's really, really important. I'm going to show you that view from here. And again, once I get to about here, then my hands and arms rotate again in the shoulder socket to allow the circles to complete. Okay, the golf swing, remember, is a circle, so the arms do rotate. They don't drag and pull. All right. So I'm going to try and show you that camera angle. I hope we can see it. I hope we can work on it. It's going to be just one-handed because I'm going to have to hold the other one and use the other hand. But I just wanted to just show you from my view the difference between this action, okay, and the action that everybody's telling you to do, which is rotate and close. Okay, so I'm going to try and show you that on a different view. So I've got my club sitting behind me. I've got this rod here, which is my path going back, and a rod here on the way through. So we're going to try and use this as best as we possibly can. You can see my right hand here is square to my club face. Okay, now as I swing back, as I take the club back, my right hand's going to hinge back on itself. Okay, but my club face, when you see me take the club back, you're going to see as I take it back, even though I'm hinging that throw release, the club face actually opens or rotates slightly to the target line. It's not staying square to the target line, which is what we're seeing a lot of golfers make the mistake of. But my right hand's working in that throw release, and it's now square to my swing path, okay, or plane. And you can see my right hand looks like this on the way back. It's not turned open. We see so many golfers that were taught that you've got to turn the club to get the toe of the club pointing to the sky, like this. And you can see how my palm is now, the stick isn't no longer parallel to my, or running at 90 degrees to the swing pane, which is here, is now opened. Now from here, I've got to then pull the club down. Club face is going to come in open if I do that from that toe up position. I've then got to work the club face closed to hit the ball. Okay, and that's when we see this follow through with the toes pointing up to the sky. So doing the throw release, where I take the club back just to here for now, see how that's 90 degrees to that swing path. I come down, club face is square, okay, and then I swing up and the club face is remaining at 90 degrees to the swing path, but closed to the target line. Okay, so there is a little bit of rotation in the face. Okay, a lot of people will get very confused, I think, with it going back straight, keeping it square to the target line, and then keeping it square to the target line on the way through. Okay, the feeling will be that you'll feel as though your palm is facing down to the ground on the backswing, comes back to hit the ball, and then it feels like the palm is facing to the sky on the forward swing, even though it's not. It's actually facing diagonally over my left shoulder, if that makes sense. You can see how the club face remains square to the target line, square to the swing path, but closed to the target line. Okay, so that's what we were seeing a lot of golfers really struggling with. So the right hand, if I try and focus on the right hand, it goes back. I've got that hinging motion going. Club face is square to the path, comes down. I hit the ball. Club face remains square to the target line. And then it comes up and around to here, so it's now square to the swing path. But notice how minimal, if I do the motion right, how minimal that rod in my glove rotates. The old days, we used to get taught, turn the face, hold the angle, turn the face, and turn it over. And that's what we were taught in the golf swing for years. And it always became very, very hard to do, if that makes sense, to time up correctly. So working this hand, so it goes back this way, hit the ball, and up this way, you're going to keep the club face a heck of a lot squarer to the swing path for longer. All right. Anyway, I apologise for the camera work there. I'm not a paid cameraman. So I hope that gives you a little bit more of an insight into the face being square to the swing path, not to the target line. I had so many people saying to me, "Oh, that's wrong, you know, because you're going to keep them closed. They're going to hook it from there." No, you won't. I don't hook it. I actually play a fade now, which is nice. I always played years of many baby draws or hooks, turns into hooks. But now I work with this action. and this motion, I can keep it fairly straight, and I can hit it as hard as I like as well, knowing that the face isn't going to have to turn down. But one of the key areas that I did need to talk about is when I swing back, I get it nice and square here, going back. But there is that point here where I mentioned earlier that the right arm and the left arm need to rotate to complete the circle. So there is a point where the club goes over my shoulder and my right arm has had to fold and to rotate. So the club face remains fairly square to my path, but it's not pointing to the sky as what people were thinking it was. It does turn, and then when I come back down, my club face, my hand rolls back down to where it started and back. So there is this rotation of my arm doing this as I come back down, because that's this tipping of the club as we talk about. Getting down to here, back in front of me, I can then hit it hard with my right hand, and then on the follow through, I release it to about here somewhere, and then after that, the arms rotate again, as I said, to release the club up and around and to complete the circle that we talk about. All right, so very, very important you understand that. I'll try and show you a picture from down the line so you can see the follow through. Excuse my bags and everything, you're getting a behind the scenes look, okay? So on the follow through, so I've come back down, I've gone back square, up, I've come back down square, I've hit the ball, okay, so I've hit impact. Beyond that, it then comes through, and then it works up this way. So my hand starts to work up this way, left hand bends back on itself, and the right hand does a throw motion, so it works up this way. But you can see the club face remains relatively square to my swing path, but it is closed to my target line, okay? Because the club head swings in an arc, doesn't it? It swings in a circle around me, so it's staying square to the swing path. Once I get to about here, then my arms need to rotate. My left arm needs to continue to rotate as it does on the backswing and fold, left elbow folds, and my right arm comes across my body. So a lot of golfers say, oh yeah, but you're crossing the hands on the way through. No, we're not. We're doing it after here, then we're crossing, if that makes sense. So we're not doing it at impact. Now I still do this myself, so please bear with, but it is important that you work on that. So that's a bit more of a deep dive view into what we've been talking about, but hopefully this visual helps you a little bit, and I'm hoping that down what I'm seeing helps you a bit as well. I apologize for any camera work, and if you feel a bit dizzy or sick after that, apologies. So having that understanding is going to give you a much better face control when you hit the ball, and you can start off nice and easy. You don't have to go big. We see so many golfers trying to go big swings straight away. Do little shots first, okay? So going back, hit and through, okay? You're following the swing path. Because my right hand is such a relationship to the club head, I'm using mostly my right hand to feel this, but you can use your left as well. There's no hard and fast rules with this one. So I'm feeling as though my palm faces to the ground on the backswing and to the sky on the follow through, okay? So just palm down and through, and my ball goes nice and straight every single time. And I can hit it as hard as I like from there because I know my hand's not rolling through in order to square the face up. Anyway, I hope that clears up a few questions. If you have any questions about it, please drop a comment below and I'll answer them. I'll try my best as I possibly can. But that's where this throw and this roll release comes into. We're trying to keep the hand square to the swing path, not to the target line, which is where we're seeing a lot of golfers, I think, we're getting mixed up with this. So I hope that visual helps. Please let me know in the comments below what you think of that. But yeah, hopefully that gives you a better understanding of what we're talking about with the roll and the throw release. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and to share with your friends. And yeah, hopefully that helps you. Hopefully that helps you play better golf. And I'll catch you again next week.